Get that camera on my face before I bust this dude's ass up.
Nobody.
I'm
What
saying,
kind of compassion do you have? What kind of
put the camera down, I'm telling you.
We have a follow-up tonight on the WFF 48 investigation into Cypress Creek Organic Farms.
We began looking into this company 4 weeks ago. The Better Business Bureau, the USDA, and the Attorney General all received complaints about the company after our investigation began. After our stories aired, the company also pulled ads claiming farmers could make $25,000 just by growing organic tomatoes.
You cannot advertise earning claims until they are realized. So that, Jamie, is fraud.
I already told you a while ago, yes, I did some things I'm not proud
what
of.
What is it you did? Tell the people
And it's
what
over
you did.
with.
10 counts of what?
It's over with.
What did you do?
It's over with.
No, it's not. You're still on probation.
It's not over with.
No.
You have charges pending
Everybody's got a background.
in Tennessee. You have charges pending right now in Tennessee for fraud and forgery. What do you have to say about those
That was
charges?
from 2006, and I'm not guilty of that.
You know what I mean.
So
I know what you said.
Tell me about the allegation then. What did you do, and what are you not guilty of?
Tie your shoe and get on the right page.
No, I'm on the right page.
The earnings claim of farmers making $25,000 to $40,000 a year just by growing organic tomatoes is what made WAFF and the Better Business Bureau take a closer look at Cypress Creek Organic Farms.
The business plan and the earnings claims all wrapped around the fact that you're going to make this money because you can sell them for 3 times as much being certified organic. And what we're finding is that a lot of this was not true. The demand wasn't there, nor was they couldn't guarantee that you would be certified organic.
Earn $25,000 a year providing local restaurants.
The promotions and even down to the company contract all say you can grow and get trained to be a certified organic farmer with the company. However, our investigation uncovered a long list of inconsistencies of what people were told during the sales pitch of Cypress Creek Farms and what they've actually been able to accomplish with the company. In an attempt to remove the F rating by the BBB, the company did provide some information. The company's marketing director at the time said they were purchasing seedlings from a business called Selected Plants in Hamilton. There's even a link on their website to get you to Cypress Creek if you're interested. In the contract we obtained, it says you will be delivered organic seedlings, but
the problem is the company offering this themselves was not certified organic.
Another reason the company had to pull the USDA's organic seal off their website. When it comes to who was demanding tomatoes, Cypress Creek's website listed more than 20 restaurants and grocery stores where you could eat their tomatoes. We checked and some weren't even buying them. They also have been pulled from the website. The BBB's Michelle Mason is also receiving complaints about the promise of grant money.
But there's no reference in the contract about them actually securing grants for you, even though we were told verbally that people thought they could get a grant and that would help offset the investment. Just a number of things that people are indicating to us they were told at the point of sale that they aren't seeing in the contract and they aren't realizing either.
The Lawhorn family once claimed they had been in the farming business since the 60s with a farm on top of Keel Mountain. We couldn't find any tomatoes or a farm. The business license for Cypress Creek was issued in April, and since, around 250 people bought into the concept that 300 tomato plants would turn into some serious green. When we crunched the numbers using Cypress Creek's figures, on average, 2 crops a year could yield 25 pounds of tomatoes. And with the promise they have of a farmer getting 85% of the royalties, it would come to close to $16,000. That's if every farmer has success growing. The company says they're selling greenhouses so farmers can grow year-round. But they're really high tunnel houses.
They were never intended to be used for year-round production.
Cypress Creek modified high tunnels by installing fans and heaters. Dr. Joe Kimball, an extension vegetable specialist and a professor at Auburn University, says growers eventually may run into problems.
If you're trying to grow tomatoes in a high tunnel in the wintertime, you are really using a very inefficient system. No matter what you do, the ground is still going to be cold.
Which Kimball says would slow the plant's production and they wouldn't ripen properly. Company leaders have not addressed any of these issues. In fact, since Monday, calls to the company go straight to voicemail.
You've reached Cypress Creek Organic Farms General Mailbox. Please leave your name, number, and a brief message, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Frustrated farmers got the same response this week and came to the office for answers. Some told us their greenhouses were still missing parts. Some still don't even have a greenhouse.
I don't know how to run a company, but I think I could do better than this.
This woman, who did not want to be identified, invested in the company back in July. She has a greenhouse, but she's missing a heater and still doesn't have tomato seeds to plant.
He says, just bear with us. We're going to still grow tomatoes. I'll buy all your tomatoes. I found out he's never ordered the furnaces at all.
Just a few days ago, Bradley Wilson handled all marketing for the company. Monday, he and several other employees walked out.
Jamie had a quick meeting with all the employees to see if any of the employees were going to give him any support. The employees just stated that they didn't want to be a part of the company anymore, and at that point, Jamie left.
He didn't return, but his son Brandon did, locking the doors.
You've completely destroyed the Lawhorn name. How do you feel about it yourself?
I don't feel anyway.
How do you feel about yourself, Margo?
I wanted answers to my questions.
You wanted answers.
And a crowd of people who showed up today.
You think you deserve those answers?
I think your affiliates deserve those answers.
You're absolutely right. Those affiliates do deserve answers.
So in all of what we uncovered, it begs the question if Cypress Creek Organic Farms really set their growers up for success.
Jessica Bearden is like so many other people who rely on their cell phones to stay in touch with family and friends. And up until recently, she had no problems.
We received calls from a 1-800 number, and it was an automated system telling us that there had been a credit to our account to log on to your Verizon account for further details.
So she logged on and followed the directions. Later that evening, problems when her husband tried to make a call.
Hey baby, the call can't go through. Send a call, won't go through.
His phone was disconnected. Mine was also disconnected.
They immediately got Verizon on the line and soon discovered they'd been scammed.
Someone had hacked into our Verizon accounts, disconnected mine and my husband's phone, tried to reconnect the same type of iPhones in Canada, and call internationally.
Not only that, but they also gained access to the couple's banking account information on file with the account.
They paid our bill, which in turn caused an insufficient funds because it was an account we never used.
2 hours later, after phone calls between Verizon and the fraud department, changing their passwords and account information, Jessica says they were able to secure their Verizon account once again, but 2 days later, her phone was disconnected again.
Yes, I'm calling because our phones have been disconnected.
They had disconnected them because of the return check from where the people that committed the fraud in the first place tried paying out of an old account.
And to add insult to injury, there were all sorts of reactivation fees and return check fees added to their account. She tells me Verizon has agreed to remove them from the account, and although Jessica says her situation was resolved to her satisfaction, she contacted me because she wants other Verizon customers to be on the alert so they won't fall victim like she did. So I contacted Verizon's corporate customer service department. A Verizon rep told me how other customers can make sure they don't fall victim to the same sort of scam. The company says it strongly encourages customers to refrain from responding to any emails, phone calls, or text messages that are not confirmed to have come from Verizon Wireless directly. And if they do, they should report the incident immediately. The company warns urgent appeals are a red flag. Cyber criminals will often try to trick the email recipient with authoritative urgent subject lines or threats of penalty if personal or financial information isn't entered immediately. They also say customers should be mindful that the best way to access their account is via their internet browser. Never log in from an email. Jessica hopes her experience helps others.
I think it's a really good thing what she's doing. And you know, people need to know this is going on. Like I said, Verizon's handling it, but I think they need to know because even last week, you know, there were still phone calls, these same scams.
Take some old Billie Holiday.
What's it all of me? Why not take all of me?
Mix it with some great bass, keys, and a perfect beat. And you've got great jazz. In the past, the Tennessee Valley Jazz Society struggled, playing events in several different locations before being here at the Improv. They hope to be in one location for a while.
Our whole objective is to keep jazz alive in our community.
Good news for local musicians.
I'm a great believer that quality music sells anywhere. It doesn't matter where you're from or where you go to. Even if you don't speak the audience's language, the music will speak to them.
He says the jazz audience in Huntsville is growing. People like Dolores Hunter, who brought her 2 daughters to listen.
I thought jazz is also awesome because it exposes vocals and instruments of all different types. It's just not one-sided. The only thing I wanted to do for them was expose them to it so that they know they have options.
It's just calming and it's just cool. It like calms me down, like chill, just so cool. I mean, it's not as hype as other types of music.
And reaching young people is another aim for the Tennessee Valley Jazz Society. The Jazz Society has some high hopes for the future of this music.
We try and raise funds so that we can take jazz to the school, to the students, so that we'll have a future generation that will be aware of jazz and will help promote jazz in the community.
It's been called a genre that will endure as long as people hear it through their feet instead of their brains. Plans for the next generation and a musical style coming into focus in Bobby's Bama. Bobby Shuttleworth, WAFF 48 News, Huntsville.
When I first heard that my mom had cancer, I was really nervous and I thought this would be the end.
I had a lumpectomy, which was removal of the cancer, and 35 radiation treatments.
But you're afraid and don't know, and that's the rough part. You don't know.
I went 7 weeks, 5 days a week for radiation.
Tough.
Yes, it was tough. It was one of the toughest things that I've ever had to deal with.
When you hear cancer, it's serious. Some people come back from it and some people don't. And I was really worried about it.
The support of my family, friends, and neighbors was really what helped me to get through. I had a neighbor that came and cleaned. I came home one day and the whole house was clean. It was an overwhelming feeling that someone would think that much of you to try to help you in that manner. Early detection is key. The sooner you make the diagnosis and get the treatment plan going, the better chance for survival. The survival rates are much higher when the cancers are caught early. I'm working in the community as an advocate for early detection, and that has become a passion for me. I've come across people who noticed a lump years prior, didn't mention it, didn't have as positive an outcome.
I wouldn't want anybody to go through this, but I think it made us stronger.
I learned also not to sweat the small stuff. You know, that life is a gift. You need to live it and be happy while you have the opportunity, because you never know what you're going to have to endure in life. So I don't sweat the small stuff anymore.